announced this 2 years ahead of their policy. To put in perspective, McDonald's uses about 2 billion eggs a year. So the implications of this are huge. And just to put this in perspective of the tangible results that are coming from these cage-free commitments and the accountability of them, 10 years ago in the United States, we were at 13% of hens out of cages in the United States. 10 years later, we're at 45.3% of hens out of cages in the United States. I made this, we had this slide made not too long ago, and it's now already obsolete, that we're up to 45% of hens out of cages in the United States. This translates to 136 million chickens at any given moment now not in cages. So it just shows that by people having a practical goal and sticking with it and being focused, we do improve the lives of over 100 million animals. But at THL, we also realized that while we are making progress in the United States, ending factory farming is a global issue. There are factory farms that exist far beyond the United States. And that's why about 10 years ago, we decided to make a lot of our focus on international campaigns. We opened up the Open Wing Alliance, which is now a coalition of 84 organizations in 72 countries throughout the world, hell-bent on ending factory farming. And through the Open Wing Alliance, we provide training and grants to organizations committed to ending factory farming globally. As a result of these organizations working on these campaigns, they're also waging corporate battles to get companies to remove their support for factory farms. We've now got 3,000 policies put in place from corporations around the world. And of the companies who pledge to be cage-free by 2024, 92% of them are now fully cage-free, meaning that there's no hens that are coming from cages in their supply chain as a result of this. One example of the impacts of these international corporate campaigns is from this year in Sweden. In June of this year, Sweden announced that there are no more hens in battery cages in the country of Sweden. And this came without even a legal ban. It's because there are about 85 corporate policies that were set in place throughout Sweden that there's just no longer a need for battery cages because every company is no longer using them. So if you go to Sweden now, you won't see a single hen in a battery cage because of these policies. The Humane League has also put a big premium on public policy of making sure not only we are getting corporations to move on this, but that we're getting states and cities to also ban these practices. In 2022, we opened up the Animal Policy Alliance. It's now a coalition of 34 organizations at this point, and I believe 21 states in the District of Columbia who are committed to enacting policies for farm animals in their neck of the woods. Some results that have come from that in just the last year from our member groups. The state of New Jersey has banned the use of gestation crates for pregnant pigs and veal crates for veal calves. The city of Pittsburgh has banned the sale and production of foie gras, which is for fattened goose and duck liver. The states of California and Washington have banned the production of octopus farming. It's starting to take hold elsewhere, and we're making sure that does not become an emerging industry in the United States. If you would like to get involved in the Humane League's work, I want to stress that this is that we are a movement where each person really matters, and each additional individual who's willing to come out to these protests, who's willing to call executives, that this is really felt, and there can be nothing more empowering than saying, this is something I believe in, and I'm going to do something about it to help create the type of world I want to live in. If you want to get involved with the Humane League, there are 3 key ways to do that. One is that we regularly host events like these, protests at headquarters and at strategic locations to pressure companies to move in the right direction on animal welfare. We have a good North Carolina contingent, and tomorrow they will be tabling here at VegFest. I encourage you to go up and talk with them, and if you won't be there, to let me know if you'd like me to put you in touch with them. The second is we have this thing called Fast Action Network, where individuals sign up on their laptops and their phones and take action to reach out to corporate executives to let them know to move on animal welfare. They do this, like I said, email, phone, trolling them on social media, and these executives do feel these actions, and we are often told by these executives that they are very much noticing those who are taking part in these forms of activism. And the last thing is just financial support, whether it's the Humane League or other organizations. We would not be able to take on the largest corporations on Earth, some of them whose advertising budgets alone far surpass our entire operating budget, if not for the kind supporters who say, I've got some extra funds and I'm going to make sure some of that goes to the groups who are doing this important work. You know, a lot has changed in the 30 years since I got involved in activism, and many of the practices that compelled me to be an activist are that we see a path forward for their way out. As for my dad, who I mentioned, who is a farmer in the 30s and 40s, he's still going strong at 92. This is me celebrating his 92nd birthday a couple months ago. And he now also agrees that we should end factory farming, and he does that by supporting the Humane League. Each and every one of us, or I'll say that each and every day, we are seeing some real glimpses into a brighter future for farm animals. It's still challenging. There's still very real suffering that exists, but each and every day we're seeing real glimpses into a better future for farm animals, and each and every one of us have a role to play in advancing farm animals' well-being and ending our support for factory farming. And I do believe that if humans are to continue on and reach the better angels of our nature, that one day there is a day on the calendar where no animal will have to endure the hellish conditions inside of a factory farm, where we as a society will view animals not through a lens of self-interest and exploitation and domination, but of awe and curiosity and kindness. So you all are playing a role in getting us there, and I know we're up for more progress. So thank you very much for listening, and I will answer any questions if anyone has any. Thanks so much. Does anyone have any questions? Or do you want?
Yeah, I'll come up there. Okay, thank you, John, for an excellent presentation. Are there any questions? So one question came up. I have a question, but another question came up.
Yeah.
So the question I have is on intersectionalism. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of organizations moving towards a better world. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's through better dealing with treating people better, treating the animals better, helping the environment. So do you, what role do you see that the Humane League plays with other organizations to promote intersectionalism?
It's a good question. I'd say first and foremost, the Humane League's key focus is on factory farm. You know, I'll get to your question in a second. First and foremost, the Humane League's first role is on ending factory farming. We feel that when a donor sends us $1, they want us to put that money towards removing the worst abuses for within factory farming. And we also feel that amongst our supporters, amongst our staff, there are a wide range of social issues that they hold. And we, excluding especially abhorrent views, we think that there's room within our movement for individuals to hold different views and to come together for factory to end factory farming. I think where we see intersectionality at the Humane League and where we practice is primarily in our hiring practices and managing practices, in doing things like randomizing the applications that come in so we can't, or anonymizing them so we can't see their names and not look them up. And so individuals are advanced regardless of any of our implicit biases. In terms of working with other organizations, we primarily do that through campaigns that are explicitly about factory farming. So like during COVID, there was a time where there was a number of organizations teaming up about Tyson, and that involved those who were concerned about Tyson's workers' rights. There were those about environmental groups. We saw that was aimed at the goal of a factory farming practice, and within factory farmings, the Humane League will get involved with ballot initiatives to get states to ban some of the cruelest confinement practices. And through that, we need a big coalition of not just like for example, in 2016 in Massachusetts, we banned a few key practices through a ballot initiative. 2018 in California did the same thing. The Humane League uses that as an opportunity to join with other organizations who are also focused on ending factory farming. That might be environmental groups, workers' rights groups, et cetera. It's a nuanced question to say that we do take other issues seriously and we want to be on the right side of them, while at the same time making sure that we are focused on ending farm animal cruelty first and foremost.
I had two questions.
Yeah.
Anybody else who has a question, please raise your hand. But one question I have is, what is the relationship between vegan outreach and the Humane League?
I'd say, well, I used to work at Vegan Outreach. I spent 10 years working for Vegan Outreach before I came to the Humane League. The Vegan Outreach's key focus is creating individual change by getting individuals to adopt more of a vegan diet. The Humane League's key focus is on institutional change, on getting the largest corporations in and getting governments to make changes to end the worst practices for farm animals. And so by that, because of kind of having different missions, there's not much overlap. I still have friends